Good morning, Mon family, and welcome to another episode of Monday Over Negativity. I'm Idelise, your host, and thank you for showing up with me week over week. And as you can see here, I am showing up in a brand new studio and couch, one leg under me and the other one hanging off like I'm posing for a Renaissance painting. But that's besides the point. I'm your couch potato prophet. Prophet. I am your couch potato prophet. And, whether I am still in my crew neck from yesterday, because laundry's still in process, and my mic right now and camera is being balanced off a pillow, and my phone's in 17% right now, and Mercedes went to Starbucks and didn't get me an iced coffee that she got from 12 p.m., which is concerning because by now that would have not done my stomach well. But we're still in the process, right? She's in the process of finishing her iced coffee. We're on the process. Last week we said thank you, but this week we're talking about the middle of the damn mess. The part where you're broke, bloated, barely holding it together, but you're still showing up like a bad bee with a dream, or if you're a man, like a boss. Okay? They can. Women can definitely be bosses, but a female dog is a bee. So what is a male dog? It's just a dog. Basura. Thanks to Mercedes.
This is MON, still showing up.
Hosted by Idelise.
This week's MON story, which I want to do something different next week because, it's Thanksgiving. So instead of sharing MON stories, well, I guess you can consider them MON stories. I want you guys to share the craziest or the funniest Thanksgiving, I guess, stories that have happened in the past couple of years, whether, your aunt did, a bad mac and cheese, or if they burnt the bed, whatever the case may be, or any clapbacks, because next week I definitely want to talk about, clapbacks, a little bit more details in Thanksgiving. But make sure that you guys DM and message me because I will be laughing and reading them all, and we can all have a great start of our week. So, let's start with the first Mon story. And this is from April. So shout out to you, April. She said, I went Christmas shopping thinking I'll grab a few decorations to get in the spirit. Nothing crazy, just some lights and a little tree. She got to the register and somehow spent $612.43.
She did not go to Hobby Lobby.
She did not, because Hobby Lobby had a 50% off. Um, she said, how did a few ornaments turn into a financial crisis? Apparently, the buy one, get one 50% off sign had her in a chokehold. She said by the time she got to the checkout, she was too emotionally invested to turn back. Okay, would you turn back in that situation, or you would have just suck it up? Because she said, what am I going to do? Return joy? I would. I mean, my thing is when I am shopping, I look at the prices as I'm going and mentally calculating everything before I get to the checkout. So I'm not in that situation. But anywho, she said that she went home, she still paid for it, and she's sitting in her living room surrounded by a garland, 6 candles that smell like pine, and a Santa so bougie he should be paying rent. Okay, I mean, at least you have a nice living room. I mean, sometimes the holiday spirit costs too much, but you're laughing afterwards, right? I mean, here's the thing, and we'll talk about it more in our monthly chaos episode with Isa and Mercedes about don't go broke with all these holiday gifts. Anyways, at least you still showed up, and I'm sure your living room looks amazing. The next Mon story is from Maria. And she said that she went to the gym Monday morning. She was working out, thinking she was recording her progress for TikTok on her fitness page. Okay, sounds good. Then this older man walks up to her and goes, "Ma'am, can you please stop recording me?" She said her soul left her body. Turns out the camera has been facing him the entire time and not her. She packed up her stuff and said that she's switching gyms immediately.
Literally would have canceled my thing.
Membership. Like, I'm
I was
done.
like, I need to cancel my membership.
I am so dead. She said bye. I mean, sometimes you think you're capturing your growth, but in reality, you're just capturing somebody's grandpa.
Just capturing his growth.
Word. Oh man. Well, keep me posted. I'm sure the sweet little old man was just trying to help you out. And hopefully you showed up the next day to the gym because
A new gym.
not a new gym. I just would have gone a different time.
You don't know his schedule. What if he's there again?
I don't know, whatever. I would have just tried to go a different time so I don't have to worry about, finding him or anything. But yeah, keep sharing your mom stories, and we're gonna have an exciting episode next week. So please share all your stories. So, as I mentioned, this week we're gonna be talking about the process. And you know what I realized that when a painter is painting, they cover their art, right? They don't let nobody see it until it's done. Because if you leave your masterpiece open in front of someone who never picked up a brush, they'll start saying, that part looks empty. Or, you missed a spot, right? Or, why is that too dark? Or maybe you should fix this, or maybe you should fix that, right? But what they don't know is that what looks empty to them is where the light's about to hit. And hear me out for a second, right? They don't realize that those mistakes are actually the brush strokes becoming meaning. And hear me out. They're trying to correct what they were never called to create. So stop letting people critique your canvas while you're still mixing colors. Stop explaining your process to people who've never seen visions past sketches. Because when the artist covers the painting, it's not secrecy, it's protection. And when someone really wants to collaborate, they'll know who to bring in, and the ones who saw the angel in the marble when everybody else just saw a block of stone. And that's what faith looks like, right? That is what the process looks like. People love to have opinions on things that aren't finished yet. But you're still in progress. You're still painting. So keep your canvas covered and let them talk. Because when God finally reveals the masterpiece, they'll finally understand why it had to look messy in the middle. So don't let people who can't see color tell you how to paint your piece. Some people only show up to critique and not to contribute. God's still blending those shades for you, and they can't even see it yet. It's not about the unfinished, it's basically what is unfolding. And that's what essentially means being in the process of things. Now, let's get a little bit more into what the word process or being in the process actually means. It's often something that a lot of us struggle to embrace, right? We only tend to appreciate the outcome, not the journey or the discipline that it actually requires. But the process is very necessary. Maturity and life or your dreams are not built overnight. It takes perseverance, preparation. Every battle you face is training for what is to come. Sustaining, victory requires learning how to care for and maintain it, not only just obtaining it. Many people ask for things they aren't prepared for. For an example, women, you want to be wise without learning the necessary skills. Men wanting a wife without learning, the discipline or the responsibility it takes. We ask God for blessings, but where will we place them if we're not ready or equipped to hold them? And something that I've always learned is if you can't manage what you're given at the time, you are not going to receive more until you are fully prepared for that. And I've heard this, right? They're like, "Oh, you want more money, but you can't even manage what you're given right now." So it's like until you're prepared for that is when that will come to you. But instead of us constantly seeking something better, focus on cleaning up, preparing, managing what you have now. You already have the resources that you need. And remember, victory without preparation literally leads to destruction. Okay. So follow your guiding star, build character, because that really determines if your success will be long lasting and long term. And I too, I am waiting, to be formed, to be shaped, prepared for what is to come. And so should you. To back up the progress and what I'm trying to ingrain in your brains this Monday is that you ever notice we only clap when the tree is tall, but nobody cheers when it's just roots, right? And I was reading something earlier that said that oak trees grow 1 inch per year for like the first 30 years, all underground. So no one really see the roots, the twisting through the rocks and anchoring deep, right? But by year 100, they'll laugh at hurricanes, right? No matter what, they'll still be strong enough to hold that, right? And that is your process. It's your root, silent, relentless, unbreakable, right? And root work is very boring. I will say that. It doesn't look cute, on Instagram. It's not giving main character, right? It's boring, right? It's giving sweatpants, overthinking, praying, and then eating Takis like at 2 in the morning. But you know what? That's where the strength builds. And I always say this, the middle season, it's the one that feels like nothing's happening, and it's actually where everything is happening. Because the deeper the root, the stronger the storm can hit without moving you. So if you feel unseen right now, maybe you're not being hidden, you're being held, right? God is still rooting you, not ruining you. And you know who's my biggest admirer? My father. And I say that not just out of love, but out of awe. And I know you're watching this, Papi. I love you. Because even if I didn't see it firsthand, I grew up hearing the stories, right? My mom, family members, how he literally came to this country with nothing but a dream and his mama's prayers and his prayers too. But no English, no guarantees. And that's why I value immigrants and what they're trying to do for to make a living for themselves and support their family, right? And it's just not faith, it's hustle, right? When he first came to the US, he actually lived in a basement, not a starter home, not a loft, not anything, bougie, a basement. Concrete floors, one mattress, cold winters, but he had that warm faith. And every morning he woke up and worked like he already saw the finish line. He didn't wait for the perfect conditions. He built in the middle of imperfection. Now, people see his furniture store, all, the properties he has or the success that he has, right? And they say, and I'm sure you probably heard this before, oh, he's luckier. You're so lucky. No. Luck doesn't build legacy. Faith does. Consistency does. You listen to the most successful people, it's consistency. Character does. No one saw the nights he spent alone praying in that store, whispering, God, please make this worth it, right? They just see what stood tall. Again, the tree, but they never respected the roots. And that's what gets to me, right? He turned sacrifice into structure. He turned pain into presence. And it took him 30 years of buildings. And people will just say he got lucky. And let me tell you, he has fallen and he's rising back up. But I've always said, and if you can take one thing out of this, is let them. Let them talk. Let them make anything up. Let them throw shade while you're planting your seeds. Let them downplay what they'll never understand. Because the loudest people are always the ones who never build anything for themselves. And that's when you say, whoop de doo. While they're busy, talking, you're busy building. And while they're assuming, you're evolving. And that's what I literally learned from him. And to be honest, I don't want to be like anybody on TV. I love you, Kim Kardashian, but I don't want to be like my dad, okay? With God first, grace in his grind, and gratitude in his heart. And that is the reminder that real work happens when no one is watching. That success is just the world catching up to what faith already saw. So, whatever process or whatever you're in the middle of, you're just getting started. And yeah, sometimes I want to say, F you, not out of hate, but out of healing because people love to doubt what they didn't help build. But now I just smile and say, watch God. Watch God, how he turns your you'll never make it into how did you do that? And that's what I want you guys to take out of this, right? We're in the process. Everybody's in the process at this point. So God doesn't wait for the final version of you to show up before he starts blessing you. He will meet you in the middle, in the half healed, half confident, half, holding it together version of you. The Bible says in Isaiah 64:8, yet you, Lord, are our Father. We are the clay. You are the potter. We are all the work of your hand. That means the fingerprints of God are all over your process. In every delay, every redirection, every not yet, he's not done. He's developing. And sometimes that shaping hurts because stretching and molding doesn't feel like grace, but it is grace. So if you feel pressed on every side now, remind yourself clay has to be pressed before it can hold purpose. You're not falling apart, you're being formed. You're not waiting for God, he's working with you. Now, this week, as a Self Love Monday, don't list what's missing. List what made you keep going when you could have quit. And this week, I want you to write down 3 things you are proud of yourself for surviving, not achieving, okay? Surviving. Because self love isn't standing at the top saying, I made it. It's sitting in the mess, saying to yourself, I'm not done yet, but I'm still here. Now, you guys are gonna get a preview of what's to come next week. So I'm gonna tie this in just to make it, give you a little razzle dazzle. But as Thanksgiving is literally about, if I'm counting right, 10 days away. 10 days? Word. And I already know somebody's family member, auntie is gonna hit you with, ¿Y el novio? When are you gonna get a real job? So you're still doing that little podcast thing? I want you to hit them with, here's your line, okay? Um, you can say, you can smile, take a sip of coquito. This is not coquito, right? But just take a sip. And then you can say, I'm in process, tia, not Pinterest. And then let the table go quiet for a second, and then you can laugh. And then next week I'll have, a list of clapbacks that you can use for this Thanksgiving because people are ruthless, okay? But this is what I want you to understand. You're not finished. You are unfolding. You are not behind. You are becoming, and nobody gets to rush the recipe God's still cooking for you. So, whether your plate is full or your patience is thin, I want you to give thanks for the middle, for the prayers that are still in process, and for the faith that still is forming, for the version of you that refuses to stop showing up. So, as we head into Thanksgiving week, remember, the turkey might be dry, the comments might sting, but your peace stays seasoned. You're still in the process. And that is something to thank God for today and every day and every single Monday, because growth looks amazing on you, even with a plate in your hand. And as I mentioned, stay tuned for next week's episode because we're going in Thanksgiving edition. We're going to be talking about food, family, comparison, the clapbacks that you can say to those ruthless family members of yours, and the ones you probably shouldn't use. And it's going to get real, relatable, and just a little bit, instead of messy, let's use spicy. So bring your appetite and your boundaries. This is Mon, Monday over negativity. Keep showing up, and I'll see you at the table next week. Same time, same place, still showing up. Bye. Let's get it. 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 Get it. Get it. Get it. Get it. Get it. It's just you buffing.
Champion.
Happy happy. Acknowledge the fact that Mercedes, she went to Starbucks and she got herself an iced coffee, but where's my coffee?
I want to acknowledge the fact that I did this at 12 and I'm still drinking.
Yeah. See, that's why I don't drink cold coffee, people. I'm a hot coffee person because that's probably iced down.
It was $5.
No, thank you. With a dream. Or I guess if you're a male watching this, like a bad man with a dream.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm cutting that off. What if it's a man watching this?
What if the man passed already fell asleep? I was like, damn bed.
Little break. We got a little break. Yeah, just don't Furniture House. Make sure that you guys go. There's a lot of holiday sales, especially Black Friday, because you don't want your uncle showing up to your house, breaking your chair because you got a cheap ass dining table. Next thing you know, he's eating and boom, he fell on the floor. What? No, it's right. And they're gonna make fun of your food because they're gonna be like, damn, the food's bad, the chair is bad. Like, let me get out of here. So go to D Furniture House.
581 Hazel Street.
I wasn't gonna give them the address. Well, they can just Google it. 581 Hazel Street. We're back to
Where is
regular
in Missouri
program.
County?
The Furniture House. Oh my God, look at spirituals. What does it say? She does him good and not harm all the days of her life. Period. We only do good. Okay. That was my Bible, little recordatories. Recordatories?
No, sir.
Okay. Where was I? With the man. What's instead of a man, what is it? That's what I'm saying, but it's a girl dog, no? Oh my God, Mercedes. She said pimp.